Hey everyone, Eric with Rockin H, and I've quickly learned I don't have my holding device set properly to do a live stream, so I got to change that real quick. And so, what I want to do here is do a tutorial showing you how to assemble a 379 Peterbilt. So this is a DCP brand Peterbilt, and we are going to put this thing together. So off camera here, you can't see it. I'm going to move everything around so you can see these things better. But there will be some things here that I want to show you. There we go. So over here, I already have my parts. Now this is just an old pair of jeans, and the reason I'm doing this on this jean is because it won't scuff my paint. So it's nice and soft, all my parts are laid out, and I'm ready to go. So how do I normally start my assembly process? Once I have all my parts laid out, I start with the cab. That's always my protocol, and the first thing I do with the cab is put this window in. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. All right. First thing I want to show you is this window here has paint and goober all the way around it, and that is going to get in the way of putting this in nice and neat and clean. So the way we get around that is we take a small file. You could use a knife if you're confident with a knife, but what I'll do is I'll take a small file like so, and I just get rid of all this paint right around that edge, okay? Just like that. So you can see right there, all that paint's been eliminated, where over here on the other side, you can still see the paint clearly. So that's all I want to do. I just want to get rid of that paint. I'm just going to make this a wee bit narrower, and that's going to help this window fit in that spot. Just like this. You could even use a knife to scrape it out. I just find this is a lot faster. And considering how small everything is, I don't seem to cut myself quite as easy, which I really like. Okay, once you're confident you got the thing smaller, or at least the paint removed, go ahead and do a quick test fit. So I'm going to do a quick test fit here. Oh, if I can grab my window. Come on, you. And I think I might, oh, nope, that's going to work. Okay, it fits in nice and neat and clean. Now, I teach people when you're doing this, don't force it, because what will happen is if this thing is too big for this spot, you can chip the paint as you put it into position. So you don't want to chip that paint after you've worked so hard to repaint your cab. Now, another thing I want to show you is, I'm going to get some of the dust and whatnot off the front of that. See how it's got this chip right here in the edge of that window? Well, there's a way to solve that, and what I teach people to do is to keep a Sharpie around. This is the modeler's secret weapon right here, is to keep a Sharpie around. And why do we do that? I'll show you. I'm going to just outline the edge of this window just to clean it up and cover up any scuffs and nicks that I may have put in it when I took it apart. Just like that. Nice and neat and clean. There, just like that. Works really well. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and insert the window where it's supposed to go in the door. Push it into place. We can see now that it fits nice and flush. It's good all the way around. That's excellent. Now we can glue it in place. So I'm using my favorite glue. If you need this kind of glue, I sell it in my store, rockinhfarmtoys.com. You can buy it anywhere online as well. I'm going to put a little bit on that edge on both sides. Not using a lot. Remember, guys, we're not playing with these. We're just setting them on shelves, layouts, desks, cabinets. So we don't need to use a lot of glue. I'm going to put a little bit more there. And then I'm going to grab my passenger side door trim. And it's got the rounded hole in it for the window. And then we're just going to set that in place with our tweezers and give it a quick push to set it, and whoops, it's ready to go. And it should fit against that back wall right there in the crack. There you can see. And then we're going to use a little Instaset to put it in place so it doesn't come up. Just a drop. And then we're going to do the driver's side. So this is the process I use on every DCP 379-89 when I put them together. On occasion, these door panels will have a little excess leftover glue from the factory. I just cut that off so it will set against the die cast nice and flat. You can use your finger. If it feels excessive, just cut it off or sand it off or whatever. Just get it removed, and then you just get a nice flush look. It's not imperative, but in my opinion, it just kind of helps the assembly process. Okay, just like that. There we go. Another dab of Instaset right there. Boom, done. Now, one thing to be cautious of, you should not see any of the door trim, the gray door trim, through the windows from the outside. That should all be hidden if it's sitting in there correctly. Okay. One thing that we do have that I need to fix is get rid of that. And what that is, this used to have horns for the air horns up here. Used to have air horns on top, and you can kind of see where the holes used to be right here and here. But that's been filled in with body filler, and I just didn't remove it on the inside. The excess anyways. There. And voila. Okay, now we can continue on. There. We're going to put the ceiling in. And it comes with these two little pins on it. I cut those off because I'm going to glue this in place, so I'm really not worried about it being secure or fitting back in those holes. I just don't think that's necessary. We use a little bit of glue here. And I'll see if I can put this in there without being in the way. Oh, Kayla, yes, I do take questions. What do you want to know? I may not be paying full attention to the questions, but I will make a point to do that now. Okay. We want to make sure that this is flat and flush all the way down there. Push that in. And then a little Instaset there. And this Instaset is in a syringe. I buy these at my local farm store in the veterinary supply section. These are for veterinary use. Anyways, they're a couple of bucks, and then I just file down the end of that so I don't stick myself, and then I just draw up some Instaset in there so I can just place it where I want it. Just reduces mess. Okay, interior is in. We are good to go. Let's go ahead and put our the interior door panels and whatnot are in. We'll go ahead and put the seats in. These don't always come out when you disassemble it. Just happened to this time. It's no big deal. What is my favorite military coupe? I can't say I have one, to be honest with you. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to military vehicles. My but I do like me some semis. And I like all sorts of semis. And this is a replica, by the way. This is one of 8, and this is the third one I'm assembling today. I did 2 others on TikTok, and then I'm going to do one on Instagram and one on Facebook. Okay, these just slide in like so, and that's it. There is a window back here. You can put this in or not. I don't put them in because there will be a sleeper against this. If this was going to stay a day cab, I'd put that window in. But since it is not, I'm not worried about it. We're going to put this pan in that secures, well, this is what you put in the cab to secure it to the frame. Well, there's going to be some paint over here. You can come in here with a knife and scrape that paint off and just get it out of the way. I recommend this. That way you don't have to force anything. Again, if you have to force something, you shouldn't have to force any of this. Because normally whenever I force something, I break it, and that ticks me off. So there, this was originally a red cab, so what you're seeing is just the red paint left over from disassembly. And there's only one way to put this pan in, and you're seeing it right there. This pan fits this cab, and there's one way to put it in. There, and it just snaps into place like that. Boom, done. We can go ahead and put the windscreen in. There should be 4 pegs on here. If you remove this and broke one or more of these 4 pegs, don't worry about it. You can use a little bit of Formula 560 canopy glue. It clears dry, so you could put a little bead of that on the inside of that frame and then just set your windscreen up against it, and it will dry clear. You won't see it. I put this windscreen in with the top 2 pegs going toward the top, like so, and then just use my thumbnail to push in the bottom pegs and snap in place, just like that. You have air cans. Again, this was a red cab originally, not white. You can see the leftover red paint right there. That's going to be in your way when you go to assemble this, so just take your knife and get in there and scrape that off. That, and then you won't see it when you go ahead and put this back together again. This stuff chips off really easy, so it's no big deal. Just like that. See how easy that happens? No worries. You can just scrape it out. Come on, scrape out. Just like that. We'll get that off of the backside too. Whenever I'm doing work like this where it's really close to my fingers, I usually use an older blade because the new ones are super sharp, and I have a habit of cutting myself with the new blades. Okay. Okay, there is driver side and passenger side air cans. You will want to look for, oh, and I grabbed 2 driver side, whoops. Let's see, what's this one? Ah, there's a passenger side. Okay, and the way to tell is these 4 holes here should be facing front. So you can tell this is the passenger side and that one there is the driver's side. There. Now, I recommend test fitting, especially if you're new, but even if you are seasoned, test fit those dudes, make sure they're going to fit all right. because the last thing you want to do is put glue on it. They don't fit right, and then you smear it and make a mess. That sucks. Okay, those are going to fit fine. Again, you don't have to get too carried away with glue. I mean, we're not gluing together the Titanic. This isn't a vehicle that requires a lot of glue, because you're just going to look at it. You're going to enjoy it and push it around your desk and make jake brake noises, because that's what we do, isn't it? What new DCP sets are coming out this summer? If you go to Diecast Library, everything that I have found that's coming out this summer, I have listed, at least anything I've come up with so far. Diecastlibrary.com. It is a free, there's two membership options. There's a free option and a paid option. And the free option gives you access to everything. You can search the database. All the records are listed, newest to oldest, and you can see everything right there. So diecastlibrary.com, that's the new stuff that it'll have all the new stuff coming. There's actually over 4,800 DCP records, semi-sets sitting there waiting for you to research and take a look at. I have the screw in this pan because I always put the screw back there so I know where it's at. We're pretty much done with the cab for this moment. Next, we're going to go ahead and do this hood. This particular truck requires a 2-round headlight grille with the vertical bars. Luckily for me, I see some red paint here. We're just going to scrape that out. Just got a little funk and junk on that screen. Just blowing that off. Okay. I'm going to test fit this as well, just to make sure it's going to fit proper. And it looks like something's in the way. What's going on here? This is why you dry fit. That way you can make sure you get the proper fit every time. Okay, that's better. Okay, we're happy. Now, one thing I wanted to point out. See that right there? You can see the gray there? That's where I had my helping hands. It held the parts while I was painting them. So we don't want to see that behind that screen, nor do we want to see all this white paint. So go get a paint pen somewhere. You can buy them about anywhere. I bought this at a auto parts store. It was not a splurge, it was impulse buy. And all I'm doing is I'm getting the easy to paint white parts. You don't have to paint every little bit of white unless you just want to. That's up to you. But I'm just painting all those white parts like that. They are raised, is why they're so easy to paint. And the reason I don't go clear out to the edge, I don't want any of that black paint to bleed over here on the side of the hood or the top of the hood. I want to stay clear away from that. So I just don't even get that close. So a little bit of glue on both pins, and we're ready to put this bad boy together. Let's do it. Just like that. Now, you can see two pieces of white, and so you're welcome to paint as much of that black as you want, or you can do what I did, but the lion's share of this is black, and when you look at it on a shelf or a desk, you're probably not going to notice that too close or too much. Okay, that is the hood and the cab for now, and then we have this sleeper. Let's get us a frame, and here we go. This one, I actually have to take some more parts off of because the real truck does not have air lines like this, nor does it have two pieces of deck plate. It only has a long deck plate. So let's figure this out. Here we go. All right, ba-boom. So we're getting rid of those parts. Now, we have all this leftover glue right here. That kind of drives me nuts. And if you put a deck plate on this, it's not going to be flat against the frame because all of this extra leftover glue is in the way. So what I do is I just take a file. You could use sandpaper. Really doesn't matter what you use. But I just come in here and I get rid of this extra residue glue. Just going to clean that off. Do not press too hard on your frame because you will bend your frame. So you can put a little pressure on it, but just keep in mind you can bend that frame. You don't want to do that. That creates you an unnecessary mess. There. Now this is flat front to back. And just 1 second, I got to take a little pause for the cause. For some reason that frame looked too long, or short. It's not, thank goodness. Now I'm just going to take a little black paint. I'm just covering up the scuffed marks. I am going to put a deck plate over this, but you know, this cost me virtually nothing to do and takes what, 10 seconds? That's what I do. All right, next we need to put the engine in this thing, and then we also need to get ready for the hood. We'll start with the engine. And it does fit nice and flush in there. We are missing a couple of pins right here. That's not a problem. We're just going to put a little dab of glue. Again, you don't have to go crazy with your glue. Don't have to get all bananas or nutty. Okay, and then I had a part fall off that engine. We'll put that on later. Or maybe not. Okay. We are ready for the next step. Okay, sports fans, if you've messed with DCP trucks very long, you know that there are two tiny pins that hold your hood on, and here they are. I take these off and I sell them for $1 or $2 because people like to use these. I don't use them. I use little tiny button screws. So to do this, the first thing I do before putting the button screws in is I drill this out with a 16th inch bit. As you can see, it doesn't take very much. Done. Now I'm going to grab a couple of button screws, and these are 3/16 by 172 button screws. I sell these in a kit. I sell them in a kit. There's 20 3/16, there's 20 1/4 inch, and then you also get in the kit an Allen wrench and a tap. You don't get the tap wrench. That thing is surprisingly costly for what it is. I think I gave 20 bucks for that little thing on eBay. But anyways, you get a tap, you get the screws, and then you get an Allen wrench. And I've misplaced my Allen wrench. Wouldn't you know? Where'd you go, Allen wrench? Huh. Well, we'll find it. It's around. Holy smokes. How did I lose that? That's bananas. Luckily, I've got another. Okay. So again, that kit, you get an Allen wrench, a tap, 20 of these 3/16 by 172, and 20 1/4 inch by 172 screws. All right. I drilled this out 1/16 inch. Now I'm going to put some threads in it. And then I'm just going to take that back apart. That die cast is really soft, so it goes pretty quick. All right. Now we're ready to start putting stuff on this frame. Okay, I'm going to start with the cab. Everything is ready and prepped. We'll take the screw out of the bottom. Just like so. Nothing to it, is there? I mean, it just goes quick. Oh, here we are. Now we'll just put the button screw there. And we are ready for money. Oh man, haste makes waste, doesn't it? If I didn't say it at the beginning, I'm working on an old piece of jean, you know, something somebody outgrew or wore out. But I like to have something smooth and soft on my workbench, so as I work on this truck, I don't have to worry about scratching the paint. That and the parts don't go flying all over the place, which I like. Okay. And that dealio is done. One thing I will do is I will take just a little dab of glue, and right there on this hood hinge and that button screw, I will glue those together so that screw doesn't kind of work its way out as somebody might open and close that hood. All right, we need a bumper on there, and I did not set a bumper out. I'm going to go on the hunt for a bumper. Here is a bumper, and then I need a screw for the bumper. Ta-da, there we go. This bumper has a flat spot on it. This flat spot goes against the die cast, and if it does happen to have lights on it like that one does, the lights go toward the bottom. So one giveaway if the other one doesn't work so well. And we use the screwdriver. Oh, come on, you. There we go. Now we'll use my dominant hand. Now, I tighten that screw all the way up, and for some reason, that thing is just not straight. Don't know why, but it didn't. So you may need to back off that screw a little bit and then level up your bumper. And I am using the OEM bumper because this best matches the real truck. And when in doubt, you can also take a bit of glue on the bottom of that bumper, between the bumper and the die cast, and just use a little bit of glue, back that screw off enough to where you can level this out. Well, here, we'll just show you so there's really no mystery to it. Let's just do this. So, there. If you happen to get glue in those threads, it's just going to make taking it apart a little more challenging someday. But hopefully you're never taking it apart, right? Once you get it this far. Okay, so it is all sorts of weird. We're going to back it off. We're going to level it up like so. And then we're going to use our Instaset. Whammy kablam right there. And then that Instaset is going to make it so it doesn't move because of the glue. Next, we have a sleeper. Let's work about that. Let's get on that. This is a 3D printed 48-inch sleeper. There is not an OEM 48-inch flat top made, just a 63. These are for sale in my store, rockinhfarmtoys.com. And all you do, after you've got it painted up and set, I test fit it, make sure everything's level and perfect along this cab. And after I'm satisfied that everything's going to fit right, I don't need to sand or adjust anything, put a little bit of glue on the back of that cab. This is not glamorous, but I don't know of a better way to do this just yet. And then a little bit of glue on the frame. And actually, I screwed this up. I didn't even think about this. This is the third one I've done like this. You actually need to have the glue out here on the edges, because, and I totally overlooked this in the last two videos I did, you got a hole there for the sleeper. So you need the glue out there towards the outside so you have something to glue to. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I am making sure that I have equal amounts of sleeper on both sides of that cab, that it's level across the top, that those lines are parallel to each other and perfect. And once I'm satisfied, a little bit of Instaset there. The Instaset doesn't do anything to the paint, by the way. It doesn't hurt anything, doesn't muck anything up. Just makes that glue cure faster. That's it. Okay, we are rocking and rolling. Okay, next thing we want to do is put some exhaust on. We're going to put a visor on. And fenders and mud. Oh, I guess we don't need mud flaps. That's already got it on there. Perfect. Well done. Okay. Oh, and then we also need to put in this tube on the firewall. Now, I broke both of these pins on this tube, okay? I broke them both, so that's not the end of the world. We can make this work anyway. So what we'll do, we're going to grab just like this, and then I'm going to test fit it just to be on the safe side. Test fitting costs you nothing and can save you headache. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and I test fit a lot because I just don't want this thing to... We've come this far, I don't want to be in a fist fight with it. You know, the paint's good, the gloss is good, the decals are good. I want everything to go really, really well. And there we are. These two in real life, if you take apart the OEM model, there will be a spot of glue on that tube. So we will replace that glue. Voila. Ta-da. Okay. Next, I need to get some exhaust. We are reusing the OEM stovepipes, so that's good fortune. I keep wanting to put miter pipes on this, and it does not have miter pipes. It's got stovepipes. Okay, here we go, here we go. I'm getting rid of any leftover paint from when I took this apart. I don't want it to be in the way, and I don't want to see it by accident on the model. So we're just going to scrape that off. There's another little chunk right there. Yeah, perfecto. We like it. We like it. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then there's also a tube that goes underneath. And now I forgot to get that out. We'll grab that. Aha, right there. All right, there is a front and a rear on these. So this hole goes towards the front. One thing about these exhaust is you can spread them out quite a little bit to get them up on the cab like so. Okay. Ta-da. Ta-da. Okay. Next, I'm going to come in here with my glue. And I'm just going to put some right here in this pinhole right there. Maybe a little bit on the side, not a lot. Just enough, just a splash. And voila, your exhaust is on. You'll notice that this engine is pink, or the transmission's pink. I will end up painting that yellow to match the engine. But this started out with, it had a pink engine and, well, it had a pink tranny. Isn't that fun? Okay, so test fit that, it works. A little glue. Another little thing that, something to consider is, notice how I'm not putting glue on my parts over the model. It can happen that maybe your glue bottle pukes or something, and or maybe you glue the part and then because of the temperature or humidity or something, you'll get this long string of glue going back between your part and the glue tip. Well, that thing can break and glue can get on your model. So I just like to do all that stuff away from the model so I don't accidentally get glue on there unintended. Just something to think about there. You notice this is not a perfect line. They're not perfectly level. You know, it's pretty rare occasion, it seems, that I'm able to take these things apart and put them back together again and have them quite as nice as when they came out of the package. Because there's so much plastic on here, excuse me, well, I guess there isn't that much, but that floor pan is plastic. And as you remove that, you can bend it and warp it. And then when you put it back together again, it just doesn't go back together the exact same way as the OEM part, or, you know, as it did from the factory. I don't know what to tell you about that. So just be aware that can happen. All right, there. Let me see. Next, we have some mirrors we want to put on. And again, just quick test fit. And they fit. Do they fit? They fit. Perfect. Okay, look at that. Not a whole lot of glue there, just a little bit. These are mirrors. Again, we're not gluing together a battleship. This is just a mirror on a die-cast truck that we're not going to play with. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to push it around on our desk or on our layout. We're going to make jake brake noises. And I got a weird, funky thing with paint right there. There. Now that's gone. And ta-da. Okay. I have a couple more parts to put on, and I think we also want to try to put this tube back in that I knocked off when we were putting it together. And this thing is going to go. We're going to grab it differently. And there's going to be a tiny splash of glue right here on top of the radiator. And a tiny splash of glue right there. And we're going to hook that in to the engine. And I think I might be going in that wrong. Am I going in that wrong? Oh, yeah, I am. Look at that. Okay. Apparently, I don't know how that works. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Now we just need to... Always try and put these things on when you're live. That way people can see just how you can monkey something up. Okay, well that was fun. We're just gonna do that off camera. Okay. No use spending lots of time. You guys will figure that stuff out. The meat and potatoes is really what we're working on here, which is this cab. Okay. This particular truck has a brand new product on it that I asked Truckin' Little to make, and it has a flat cut visor on it. None of the OEM parts look like this visor right here. So this has got a flat cut down at the bottom, and it best matches what's on the real truck. So we're going to put that on by we're going to test fit it. Now the reason to test fit this visor is sometimes you need to bend this little curve out a little bit. Sometimes it's curved in too much, and so it'll look like this, you know, where it's hitting one or both corners of your cab. Well, we don't want that. And I think I'm gonna maybe bend this one out just a little bit. So I'm just using a plier here. Now watch this. Just gonna squeeze a little bit, just a wee bit of torque there. Gonna flatten it out just a little bit. And that way it flops right in there like so. And I like it. Now, I will go ahead and get that truck right up there where I can see it like this. And then I'm going to use a little bit of glue right here in these corners. And then I'm going to go right here like so. Oh, you jerk. There. Now, it seems like I will do a fabulous job of getting my fingers in glue, which is why I use those tweezers to kind of get it into position. Then from the middle of this thing, I will go ahead and kind of adjust it where I want it. And I'm pitching it out just a little bit like so. Oops, that's not level. And still not quite perfect. A little more down on the driver's side. Okay. There we go. We got her, I think. Maybe just a wee bit more up on the passenger side. Did we get it? Eee! Not perfect, not perfect. Try again, Eric. Okay, nope, I think that's where it's gonna be. Okay, well. Started to set up on me really quickly this time around. What I like to do is bend that visor up just enough to kind of cover up those holes where the factory visor was. But unfortunately on this one, it ain't happening because, well, glue set up really quick. Okay, final thing we're gonna do on this is we're gonna cover up this black right there. And we're gonna use the Model Builder secret weapon for that. So we got that little bit of pink there. I don't want to see that. So we're just going to cover that up with the Sharpie. Yeah. I'm going to do that on the other side too. Okay, there was a half fender theirs. It was pink and black. Okay, I guess it's good on the other side. And then what we're going to do is put this half fender on there. We are just about done with this particular tutorial. If there are questions that are burning a hole in your mind, let's get those going. So the truck and little half fenders, like you see here, have this plastic coating on to protect that stainless. So you do have to remove that, like I did there. These are the absolute, if you're brand new to customizing and you want to just start tricking out trucks, these are the absolute easiest fenders to install, aftermarket fenders to install. Matter of fact, they're even easier than OEM fenders, and they're easier than any fender that I have made myself, because all you do is slide it underneath that fifth wheel plate like you see there. It still lets your fifth wheel plate function, but you slide it in underneath there and you are done. I mean, that's it, guys. And gals, it does not get any easier than that. So if you are brand new and you're looking for simple ways to add some coolness to your die-cast models, that's it. Okay. I'm putting a little bit of glue right here where it touches the die-cast. And that's it. And whammy kablam, that dude's on. I'm gonna just reposition this for my fingers. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this in place, and then I come back and I'll just put just a splash of glue right here in the corners. I'm not getting real crazy here. Just a little bit right there, just like that. Ta-da! And then I'm gonna come in with my Instaset. And there, it's done. And there you got your half fenders installed on your truck. That's how easy that is, man. It's really cool. Okay, what do I have to do next? There's only four more things I gotta do. One, I'm gonna put a deck plate on this, which I'm not gonna show you because I have other steps I gotta, well, I really don't have anything to do except put the airlines on and I forget where those go. So airlines, a deck plate, and again, the deck plate just glues to the frame. It's no big deal. And then I need to put chrome strips right here and there. Then Molotow, this vent cover, the doors, door latch, cabinet latch. And then I need to put 7 bullet lights across the top. That's it, and this thing's done. Oh, well, and then for this particular truck, since it's a replica, I have to put the decal for this particular company on the battery box. So that is it, guys. Number 3 of 8 is done for the most part. Okay, if you have any comments or questions, like I said, go to my, don't hesitate to ask. I'll share everything I know. I'd like to see more people doing their own customs. If there are, just a quick sales pitch, these are products you can buy in my store. All of these things right here. Yeah, all of this stuff, all these tools and things you can buy in my store. You can buy, oh, what else? On this cab, these fenders, the sleeper, bullet lights, this visor, a number of other things. I've got all sorts of parts to help you trick out your truck. Anyways, hope that helps you. Thanks for watching. Again, comments and questions, don't hesitate to ask, and we'll see you next time.